So I got to ask you, do you have like weekly money habits that you do? I think most people do, but it's one of those things we don't really talk about a lot because everybody has their own thing. So I just want to kind of go through the six money habits that I do, six things I do every time I get paid. And it's one of the best things you can do, I think, for your money is to know what your money's doing and where it's going. And easiest way to make that happen is to automate everything. So I'm going to go through these things that I do. And first off, and this isn't some of the stuff you don't have to do every week. Some of the stuff you do, and then once you have it, you have it. You don't have to keep doing it every week. But first thing you need to do is obviously is know what your budget is, know what your income sources are, know what your budget is, and then you need to establish that as your baseline of your essential minimal needs. So it's that, and this includes taking your rent, your car payments, your food budget, your electric bills, your cable bills, all those things, and that is your weekly essential budget. Okay, so if it's $3,000 a month, then that's $750 a week, and then you know exactly what it's going to be. Okay, so you need to know what your sources are and what your bills are. Second thing you need to do then is to, I believe, is to put at least 1 month of those total expenses away as a baseline for your emergency fund. This isn't just like Dave Ramsey talks a lot about having $1,000 emergency fund. Well, $1,000 nowadays doesn't get you out of much of anything if something goes wrong. If you put 1 month of your bills away, let's just use the $3,000. If you get that $3,000 saved and leave it there, you have enough to cover just about anything that goes wrong within reason, right? When you're talking about a major car repair, it'll handle most of those things. I mean, if you blow a transmission or an engine, that's one thing. But if you have a breakdown, a tire goes flat, if your refrigerator breaks, anything like that, you can pretty much cover it with 1 month's worth of your bills. The third thing I do then is I would begin to pay off any high interest loans I have. Anything above 7% needs to be the target. That should be your first thing to do. And then go in order of the highest interest rate and the balance that's the quickest to pay off. I know that kind of sounds conflicting, but going after those high interest rates first is essential because you're not really making any money as long as you're paying those kind of interest rates, right? Anything over 7% means anything you're trying to make in investments is getting eaten up by what you're losing on interest rates that you're paying on bills. So if you have a credit card that's 22%, for instance, like we talked about the other day about how rates are just going through the roof. If you have a high interest credit card, but it's your smallest bill too, that is the easiest to pay off, fastest thing you can pay off, go for that first. And you know how much money you can put toward it because everything that you've taken care of your essentials is put away. Once you do that, you know what you have left to work with, right? So if you make $5,000 a month and your bills are $3,000 a month, if you really want to get out from underneath your debt and make your life change, then you're going to take everything available left and hammer on those bills until they're gone. So attack those high interest rates first, okay? Then work your way down. And of course, a lot of people do the debt snowball from that point on as you take every payment you had that you've paid off and then apply it to the next bill and just continue the snowball until everything's taken care of. All right, after that, you're going to want to max out any employee contributions that are matched by your company. If you have a 401k program and your company pays a 3% match like mine does, you should be at least doing that 3% because otherwise you're leaving money on the table. You're throwing it away. And like a friend of mine used to say, what's the matter? Are you mad at your money? Is that why you waste it? Don't be mad at your money. Maximize your company's match at least. And then go from there. You can always build. You can always build up to a higher. When you get to a point where you've got things under control financially, you can always increase how much you put into your 401ks or any other matching programs, or even just to invest on your own. But you have to get to the point where you're at least doing something minimal every month. Habit is what builds wealth. You have to have the habit of saving and continue to save forever, okay? The next thing I would do then is to build out your emergency fund to where you can cover 3 to 6 months. You get to the point where you have $9,000-$10,000 in the bank. That would be approximately 3 months of our $3,000 budget. If you have that in the bank, you got security, you got some freedom. You know that you can at least cover yourself if something bad goes wrong. Okay, and you don't have to fret about anything that happens then. If your engine goes out in your car, you can make a decision if it's time to buy a new car or whatever. Now, if you don't have a car payment, you should be saving for a new car anyway. And that would be, I would take, maybe $300 to $500 a month as part of my monthly budget as a car payment and have that being saved somewhere separate. Make your things automated and separate your money out so that this is my monthly budget money, this is my savings money, this is the money I use to pay off my debts. Okay? And make it all automated. That's the easiest way to do it. And then finally, at that point, I would start to invest in future things in tax-free accounts, whether that's different IRAs. I currently right now put a lot of not going to say extra money, but all the money we save goes into a high interest savings account or a money market account that pays 4 and 4.5%. That way I have access to it, but yet it's still making money and still saving. And I already have my 401k match that I'm doing. I don't need any more tax deferred per se. I'd rather have my cash available now and everything's already been taxed, so everything I make on that money is mine to keep. And 4.5% adds up pretty quick, especially if you continue to contribute. Don't ever stop saving. Never stop saving. I can't say this enough. Even when you're not working anymore, once you're retired, if you have extra money, you should be saving it somewhere. And if you put it in a high yield savings account, you're making some money on that money. I don't care if it's $100 a month. If you have $100 a month and you continue to save, that money will continue to build. Okay? Anyway, thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you next time. Thanks.